Hi, and welcome to another video of Software Inc. Elite Distributors Incorporated. Today we're going to talk about now that you've made money, you've moved into a new building, and you're a couple of months into making some money on your first piece of software. So what I've done here is I played about maybe 3 or 4 months into the first year here that we've released our first piece of software, which is Publisher Elite. And I have made it's one building, but it's paired with the same building on either side. It's very symmetrical. I've added an HVAC room in the middle of these two, so that way I can provide heating and cooling. I've also added a very small but rudimentary server room down here below, which will be starting to expand here in a little bit once we take on some printing and doing some embedded contracts to be able to print some stuff. So I think I'm going to utilize probably the basement tool to utilize the printing and manufacturing once we get into that. So it's definitely one of those things that I'm going to try to help facilitate, like everything down here, and then it just comes up to one little garage area where they can all come and pick up the pieces of software and all the prints. All right, so the very first thing that you notice is that we're actually starting to develop it now on our founding software, which is Office software on word processor, presentation, spreadsheet, and publisher. We have our own marketing team and support team now for our first piece of software. And as you can see also, I've also organized and team colored the teams that I'm going to be using. Support has one color, marketing has another, law, contract, and research is going to be black. And as you could probably see, I've used some of the Google colors for my four teams per floor that I'm going to have. And eventually, we'll probably be around the clock. We'll probably have about maybe 2 teams per room per shift. We're going to try to limit the night shift to keep stress down at a minimum. And as you can see, every left, this right here is the support teams area. As you can see, that's their color. Then we have our design teams for our first founding software, and then on the second floor, we're going to have the other 4 teams, and then on the third floor, the last 4 teams. And then here on the right, we have our marketing teams that'll eventually end up growing. Each room is going to be matching. As you can see, we have the word processor marketing here, have the word processing here, and what name. So what I've done here is I've actually hired, as you can see as well, like I've continued on with the 325% compatibility with all the team members. This is going to really increase the productivity as well as them being able to have a meeting every month, which is going to definitely help take care of social needs and stuff like that. So a couple of things now that we've got everything all organized, a couple of things that I'd like to do when setting up a building is set up room groups. As you can see here, I have support first floor, development, which is the second one, and then I have marketing on the third. Then I have the HVAC, which is the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. SDM stands for support, development, and marketing. And that's these 2 rooms right here. And so I've also added one for servers, which is the B1, which is going to be down this way. So when I manage my staff, and this is how I do this, and it makes it really simple for me, so that way I know who's in what, who's cleaning what, who's going where. Once I hire these individual staff members, I assign them to a room. So I figure out what I want to do first. As soon as I want to hire, of course, I'm going to have security, one on each door of the actual building 3 times a day. And then I assign 2 maintenance people per floor. And as of right now, on the HVAC and the servers, I only have 1 each. And they're all coming in at the end of the day. And this is kind of a little bit tailored, but I'm thinking about maybe making a morning shift for all of these guys here for the cleaning, just because of the fact that it does get dirty and there's some unnecessary warnings that come up here that's kind of annoying. So I'm thinking about maybe changing these to, I want to say after everybody gets to work, so probably around 10. So that looks pretty sufficient. And then maybe changing these guys here to 17, because that's literally right when everybody starts to go home anyways. I'm thinking about doing the same thing for the actually the IT and the maintenance. They can do it afterwards because it does kind of interfere, especially when IT is trying to get to a computer that's already being used. Just kind of slows the progress down a little bit. And as you can see, I've only been using about $75,000 on my marketing for my budget, and I've ascertained unavoidable. So it just depends on how efficient your marketing team is in being able to reach your goal for the month. And I've also noticed too, on support, like this is because I've hired all low salaried, and they're actually starting to level up their coding skill. But they're fixing the bugs at a very low rate. So we might need to get like a high level bug squasher team. That's kind of far fetched. And as you can see, this is the first couple of months here. All my project details say started development, but that's when I started. That's when I made the actual the framework for all of these, and didn't really start until I want to say back in April this month right here. Oh, this is actually pretty neat. I've never noticed this. This is pretty cool. This is cool. This tells you how many personnel you're gonna have. I think this is pertaining to the people that go on vacation. Stuff like that. That's actually pretty neat. I've never actually clicked on the month calendar before. I've always clicked on this one down here. But as you can see here, we have some things to look at as far as our development goes. As you can see, we have presentation. What? Office software. That is so funny. Somebody named it the same one that we had here. And we're developing this. It's probably going to take us after December anyways. That's kind of funny. Super Soapbox 4, but we have Soapbox Elite. That was unintended. I didn't even look at the names for that. So don't really have anything else for presentation. In fact, let's just look at all. I think that's the only thing in Office software that we're looking at for competition as far as what we're releasing. So that's actually pretty good for us. So a couple of things to look at when you're initially starting your company as well and getting everything situated. You don't necessarily have to do this. Here's my little office right here, by the way. I've got a nice little office right behind the reception desk. You don't really need to make one. It's just going to allow you to get some deals and stuff like that. They might ask you to print. They might ask you to design. They might ask you to do some support marketing, maybe some support to kill some bugs for a system and stuff like that. And then I have a lounge set up for each of my staff areas too. So when they're idle, this is actually going to be for them to be able to kind of chill out and have some fun and kind of talk amongst each other about what's going on. Maybe pass some sly ideas or something like that, trying to produce some espionage. Who knows? So a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about as far as being able to manage your company at the beginning of your playthrough is go ahead and take a look at where you stand on distributors, and also looking at other companies' details as far as what they specialize in, because that really does take into account as far as what you can invest your money in at the beginning of the game to kind of make little small pieces come together. And then secondly, take a look at the listed price. As you can see, the more the high end is definitely not is definitely the norm to have more of a listed price. But look at this company right here, worth only 16 million, actually 32, and he's listed 85.95 or 95% of his company, which means if you buy this guy out, then you can take him over and make this your subsidiary and allow them to continue to make software, or you can basically, I think you can liquefy all other assets. And then a couple of other things too. I always like to point out, remember when you successfully can, after the first couple of months of doing a little small room for these two first ones that you have, because you don't want to expand too quickly for one, and for two, you definitely want to get your loan taken care of as quickly as possible, because honestly, $1 million loan, for the interest that it charges you, you literally pay about 2.5 million back, which is really ridiculous amount. And also, let me another thing. So when you start making some excess money every month, I'm gonna recommend, when you're not building and everything like that, and you know you're going to be having some money come in from the product, and don't run into this issue to where you do not have um, any uh, software in stock. As you can see, I'm not going to have enough for next month, so it's going to be definite. I'm going to need to order another 250. We'll just go ahead and knock that, because I know I'm going to sell another. I'm going to sell at least twice that. But what you don't want to run into is money to not be able to invest in. And as when you're depositing your money, you want to be able to capitalize on that later on in the game, so that way you have more money when you take that money out. Another thing, you have these 5 stocks. Now, I don't know too much about what these things actually do in the game. I just do know that you can see the history here of what the actual stock is, of what they do. I would very vicariously, do this through me and put it on this on your own, because what it's going to do is you're going to end up investing some small amounts of money, and the stock's going to go up and down. I don't know if it's random or not. I don't know what the demand is for, but I do know that this is a system here, but it doesn't give you any tooltips at all. I guess you could do the tutorial here, but it says, tells you this, that here, investing bonds, and then when you decide to withdraw money, we already know that. So basically, it's basically telling you to invest in these stocks. So it's always, yeah, buy high, sell low. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you definitely. I think that's the other way around. It's buy buy low, sell high. I think it was a joke, because it says, yeah, that sounds right, right? So they're random stocks. I've really never really paid attention to this tutorial, so it's just kind of straightforward. Now, so whenever you and then the second thing with the investments and insurance, there's a random place that's going to take a random event that's probably going to take effect every occasionally, like burglary or a fire. Now, you can insure 100% of your cost by moving this slider from left to right. This will cost me about $50,000 per month, and this is guaranteed only if you pass the fire inspection, which you need to have sprinklers for all of your electronics and fire alarms in rooms that are more than 10 meters. I think it's 10 meters cubed, I think. So anything over 10, you're going to need a fire alarm in that specific room. Anything less, you can put one on the outside of the room, but anything less than that, you don't need one in there. And so that's it pretty much for the bonds and the stocks. And then also here, down in here where it says terminations. Now these things are going to list 2 events. You're either going to have deaths or you're going to have retirements. I think those are the only 2 that I've seen. And of course, this goes hand in hand with the employee benefits. Now, this is something that I've been kind of dabbling in a little bit. Do not go ham on this in the beginning, because it is going to cost you a lot of money unless you know that you can afford it. But honestly, the pension, $200 a month, that's really not that too much. You can also, this is also helps out with anybody that has night shift hours, which is anything after 1800 and before 5 o'clock in the morning consists of night shift. I've given everybody a company car just because I think it's cool. I like seeing these nice little green four-door sedans show up instead of like random cars. And I was also thinking about maybe giving my leaders that you can, if you go here to manage employees, if you right click and then go to, I'm sorry, you don't have to right click, select their name and then change benefits. You can actually tailor each person's employee benefits. If you want to cater to your leaders for doing such a wonderful job on project management, you can give them a company car, which is Oh, actually, I think you don't. I guess you don't. Yes, I thought you could change it. Well, apparently not. So I really thought you could change the benefits here. Maybe I think you have to. Oh, override. There we go. You have to override the company benefit. There's a little box here on the left hand. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, you can. So you can give them a $25,000 car as opposed to the other employees who only get a $4,000 a month car. So you can change that, which is pretty nice. You can tailor each individuals and stuff like that. All right, so this is the first part of uh, the the I guess you could say the series here as far as presentation and what we're doing and getting things normalized. And as you can see, sorry about that. I have a couple of people that are not doing anything because they've already finished their stuff, and they're getting ready to go home anyways. So I've already sent a lot of people home for this month, just because of the fact that they were sitting around. I really didn't want them just sitting around doing nothing. And it's really important to try to manage each in persons every month to make sure they're not sitting around and then you end up getting complaints of employees saying there's nothing to do and this, that, and the other. So that's pretty much going to be it for now. We're going to go into the second part later on tomorrow. But this is just the start of a great company. We have a little bit of things to consider as far as bug squashing goes, our printing and manufacturing, how we're going to issue our software and stuff like that. So I hope this video was useful. I really hope you enjoy it. If you did, give me a like, and if you deem it necessary, go ahead and comment and subscribe to my channel as well. I will see you guys soon.